Broadcasting from a computer with Windows 95, deep within an underground bunker somewhere in the back of your imagination, it's the Use Your Weight Radio Podcast, presented by the JXB Radio Network. And now, two men who are banned in every truck stop in 37 of 50 states, and the less said about that time in Arkansas, the better. It's Dr. Motorcycle and the fantastic Johnny X.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Use Your Weight Radio Podcast here, presented by the JXB Radio Network. As always, I am Dr. Motorcycle, joined by my compadre and blood brother, the fantastic Johnny X.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, and good night, Dr. Motorcycle. How are you this fine day?
Oh, we're already done? All right, well, see you later.
Oh, well, my bad.
So here we are, and I was thinking about it the other day, Johnny, the movie outlook, the film, the cinema outlook for 2024 is really in the toilet. So not really anything at all that I'm excited to see coming up, but as we move into the month of March, there are two particular movies that, look at least a little bit interesting. So we're going to play a little game this week. I thought we'd have a game that I am going to present to you, and it is called I Saw the Trailer, So I Saw the Movie.
And now, I watched the trailer, so I saw the movie.
All right, so what I've got for you is two movies that are coming out in March. One is a remake of Roadhouse, starring Jake Gyllenhaal, and the other is a Ghostbusters sequel called Frozen Empire. You've watched both of these trailers, right?
Mm-hmm. I have indeed.
Okay, so first we'll start off with you've seen the trailer, so now you've seen the movie. Tell me, Roadhouse.
So Roadhouse, with Jake Gyllenhaal, this is a movie that's going to be about a disgraced former UFC fighter who lost more fights than he won. And, he goes into seclusion to kind of hide from his shame, to hide a dark secret, and then eventually finds himself at the beach. He moves to the beach. He ends up taking a job as what's called a cooler with a bar. It's not a bouncer, it's a cooler. He's trying to stop fights before they happen through conflict resolution instead of his fists. Eventually, the owner of the bar, or the owner of the land that the bar is on, he wants to close it down as part of plans to build a massive resort and casino. But the owner of the bar is refusing to back down and sell because her new bouncer cooler, has really cleaned up the place. Now she's making money hand over fist because all the riffraff's gone. Now the owner of the land, a real stereotypical mustache twirling villain character type, he starts sending his goons in waves to try and mess up the joint and drive down the price. And these goons are headlined by another former UFC fighter that is part of that dark secret that our cooler main character has. He's played by this crazy Irishman who can't act his way out of a paper bag. Eventually, the big bad Irishman, his fellow goons, the landowner, they're all defeated for good, and our hero leaves the beach, walking the earth like Kane in Kung Fu, wandering from bar to bar like a one-man A-team. And I will say, Motorcycle, this movie's going to suck because it doesn't have Terry Funk, Sam Elliott, and his glorious hair. Sam Elliott and his glorious hair, or Jeff Healey. Vegas has this at even money on whether or not Conor McGregor's no acting talent have an ass will actually be worse than Kelly Lynch's third semester theater student performance in the original Roadhouse.
All right, so that's your synopsis of Roadhouse just by watching the trailer. You've not read anything about the movie.
Nothing.
So here we go. Roadhouse stars Jake Gyllenhaal as Dalton, an ex-UFC fighter trying to escape his dark past and his penchant for violence. In this adrenaline-fueled actioner, Dalton is barely scraping by on the reputation that still precedes him when he's spotted by Frankie, the owner of a roadhouse in the Florida Keys. She hires him to be her new bouncer in hopes of stopping a violent gang working for crime boss Brandt from destroying her beloved bar. Even 5-1, Brandt's crew is no match for Dalton's skills, but the stakes get higher with the arrival of ruthless gun-for-hire Knox. As the brutal brawls and bloodshed escalate, the tropical Keys prove more dangerous than anything Dalton ever faced in the Octagon. Also starring Daniela somebody and Joaquin somebody and blah, blah, blah. So you were pretty close.
Well, the trailer shows you a lot. Like, it was easy to figure out the UFC thing. It was easy to figure out the beach thing. And I mean, come on, I've seen the original Roadhouse 50 times at least. So, they're going to do just enough to mimic the original movie while making it modern and thrilling and appeal to the younger generation. So, but I stand on the business of what I said. It's going to suck if nothing else because it won't have Terry Funk or Sam Elliott.
Well, that'd be kind of difficult at this point, wouldn't it?
It would. And Sam Elliott's hair, I mean, it's pretty much gone now. But yeah, no, I have no desire to see that movie, and the fact that Conor McGregor is in it does nothing for me.
Moving on to Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, that is also coming out in March. You have seen the trailer, so you've obviously seen the movie. Let's have it.
Yep. So this one was a little tricky for me because I've seen Afterlife. This is the sequel to Afterlife. I really did like that movie. And of course, I love the original two Ghostbusters. Anyway, so this picks up where Afterlife teased things going a couple years ago at the end of the movie. And the movie finds us not in a Midwest cornfield, but the Big Apple, the center of the universe in movie world, New York City. Now we've got a mega team of Ghostbusters, both old and new. Gozer is no more, but the new big bad that's going to jump off the pages of Tobin's Spirit Guide to terrorize the crew and the world looks like some kind of big ice monster that's going to freeze the planet, a new ice age, if you will. Other observations from this trailer: Finn Wolfhard will continue playing a teenager, even though he's in his 20s and probably having to shave off 5 o'clock shadow between takes. Bill Murray is going to do Bill Murray things and probably, finally, get his wish of having Peter Venkman killed, failing to realize that if they can bring Egon back using special effects, then the center of the Ghostbusters universe will live on in perpetuity like the ghosts that they chase. Also, Paul Rudd will continue to not age. True story, his actual age, 206.
All right. So there's your synopsis without having done anything but watch the trailer. Here we go. In Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, the Spengler family decides to leave Somerville, Oklahoma, and go back to where it all started, the iconic New York City firehouse, and help the original Ghostbusters, who've developed a top-secret research lab to take busting ghosts to the next level. But when the discovery of an ancient artifact unleashes an evil force, Ghostbusters new and old must join forces to protect their home and save the world from a second ice age. So you pretty much nailed it. Good job.
No, thank you. That trailer, it's one of those ones you hear this a lot if you follow movies online. Trailers give too much of the movie away. It's why this bit probably exists. You can pretty much know what the movie is by watching the trailer, and it's been true for a decade now. And I'm not shocked to hear that synopsis at all.
And with that was I saw the trailer, so I saw the movie. Well, I think it's time to take a break here on the Use Your Weight Radio podcast. I'm Dr. Motorcycle, along with a fantastic Johnny X. We've got much more to come here on the JXB Radio Network.
You are listening to the Use Your Weight Radio podcast, presented by the JXB Radio Network. You can find us online at youtube.com/@useyourweight. We're also on Instagram at useyourweightpod.
Come on down this weekend for the Super Saturday sale at Shovels and More. We got big shovels. We got small shovels. We got shovels for the kids. Shovels for your dogs. Hell, we even have shovels to murder your ex-girlfriend's new man. Just kidding. Those sold out last week. Shovels and More. Just off Route 42 behind the Piggly Wiggly, right next to Barb's Adult Supply. Come on down, be there, and buy yourself a shovel.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hi there, my name's James Wilson. I'm the general manager over at Millie's Steakhouse. It appears that you've applied for the position of front of house with us, but I have a few questions in regards to your previous employment, quite namely an establishment entitled the National Association of Psychonautics, where you had the role of Mind Explorer. If you could just give us a quick call back, I'd like to further discuss how those previous experiences can help deliver an excellent service over at Millie's. Thank you, and have a great day.
It's the Use Your Weight Radio podcast on the JXB Radio Network.
Welcome back. You're listening to Use Your Weight on the JXB Radio Network. I, of course, am the fantastic Johnny X. You can follow us on Instagram at Use Your Weight Pod. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/the @ Use Your Weight. And of course, we are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Be sure you're subscribed, rate and review. It helps people find us and all of that. So, motorcycle, there's a lot going on in the world these days. I mean, lots of, news happening, as we're recording this. Big news for me was Jon Stewart coming back to The Daily Show. Don't know if you've had a chance to watch that. It's been really interesting so far. Lots of stuff. Baseball season's getting started. I know that appeals to you, but I also know that hockey, the NHL, being in the stretch run, getting to the playoffs, and the greatest time of the year, the Stanley Cup. That's happening right now. The NBA is in the stretch run. Victor Wembanyama continues to be a damn alien. I can't even. I'm just obsessed with that. But as you know, motorcycle,
there is some real news going on in the world, isn't there?
There is some real news, and we have a crack news team that's going to cover all the important news. So let's send it over to our crack news team right now.
Top of the morning to you. I'm Patrick McShonagh O'Shea.
And I'm the Mooch.
And this is the news as it's occurring on this day. For our first news story, in a centuries-old English pancake race, you just have to go flat out.
I remember the last time I went flat out, Patty. It was something to behold.
I'll go flat out up yours if you don't let me finish this story in peace. Women in matching checkered aprons and headscarves limbered up Tuesday as they prepared for the pancake race in Olney, a small English country town.
I sure do love a good pancake with the syrup. It's so sticky and sweet.
Ah, Faith and Begorra, you're a hopeless cause, Mooch. At the word go, they sprinted through the streets, trying not to drop their pancakes as they roughly traced the path taken by a housewife in 1445, who upon hearing the church bells signalling the Shrove Tuesday service, raced off with her skillet.
What's the Shrove Tuesday service?
What does it matter to you? You'll never go near a church ever since that one time. For our next story, a Belgian couple makes a rescued wild boar their indoor pet.
Have you ever had an indoor pet, Patty? They're pretty fun. I had a weasel once, but then it crawled right up my pant leg. I was dancing like I was in a Pentecostal church. My grandmother thought that I'd gotten the Holy Ghost.
Mooch, you're a lot of things, but you're not exactly what I would call fun.
And you're not exactly what I would call Irish.
Up yours. The boar was found just as a wee small piglet by the husband on a hunting trip, who decided to take him home. Oscar the boar is now 1 year old and 80 kilograms.
Patty?
Yes, Mooch?
Don't we need to keep our American listeners in the know? Like, how much is 80 kilograms? We're not dealing drugs here like some people I know used to.
Oh yes, apologies to the ignorant I mean our international audience. 80 kilograms is approximately 176 pounds. Moving on swiftly to our last story, Singapore's clandestine cats can soon legally call the city-state their home.
Cats? Oh my God, those psychos. Damn you, Patty. You know I don't like stories about cats. One time, when my cat got a hold of my weasel, I named him Jerry. Well, that was the last of that.
And this has been the news as it's occurring here on the Use Your Weight podcast, coming to you on the JXB Radio Network. I'm Patrick McShanna O'Shea.
And I'm mad at you, Patty, but I'm also the mooch.
Until we meet again.
Well, that's certainly is some news from around the world, that's for sure. Where did we find those guys again?
I didn't hire him. I thought you did.
Oh, I thought... Wow, okay. Well, that was the...
How the hell did they get on our show?
Not so sure. The news that's occurring, courtesy of some Irish television station somewhere, and yeah, so there you go. That's what's going on in the world right now. We need to take a little break here on the Use Your Weight Radio podcast. I'm Dr. Motorcycle, along with
the fantastic Johnny X, still trying to figure out what the hell's going on with the news.
And we'll be right back.
You are listening to the Use Your Weight Radio podcast, presented by the JXB Radio Network. Today's episode is sponsored in part by the 52 Card Laboratory. For history, nuance, unboxings, and the occasional magic trick, visit youtube.com/@52cardlaboratory.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hello, my name is Sven. I am calling from the Finnish line. I have your pre-ordered Air Fjordans here for pickup. If you could just come in and get them from us here at the Finnish line, that would be great. Thanks. Again, Sven.
And now it's time for Random Thoughts with Slim Reaper.
Slim Reaper. Not enough people get down to Eastern European turbo folk music. Slim Reaper. Hard time in a Slavic jail changes a man. Slim Reaper. Sometimes I think it would be really cool to be a frog. Slim Reaper. It is illegal in Iowa for mustachioed men to kiss women in public. Slim Reaper. The anteater is one baller animal. Slim Reaper.
This has been Random Thoughts with Slim Reaper on the JXB Radio Network.
Slim Reaper.
This segment of Use Your Weight on the JXB Radio Network is brought to you by BK's Meat Depot. Come in daily for fresh deals on the freshest meats, except on Sundays when the meat is marked down. BK's Meat Depot, where no one can beat BK's meat.
You are listening to the Use Your Weight Radio podcast, courtesy of the JXB Radio Network. We appreciate you tuning in. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, follow, and wash your dog.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is the Use Your Weight Radio podcast presented by the JXB Radio Network. I, as always, am Dr. Motorcycle, here with my compadre, the fantastic Johnny X.
You know, Motorcycle, I must say, we are clearly blowing up and we are getting huge. We've got sponsors, if you didn't tell from the last break. You know, I recently got a chance to go visit our newest sponsor, BK's Meat Market, and I got to tell you, if you want the freshest cuts of meat, you want to go there. You want to ask for the contaminated meat. That is really good stuff. I could taste colors because of the contaminated meat, and you know, hey, like the slogan says, man, no one can beat BK's meat. So we're blowing up, as they say.
Well, yeah, you know, we recently got an email that I shared with you.
Yep.
We are getting big in the United Kingdom, of all places.
Yep.
We are ranked number 69 in podcasts in whatever category we're set up in.
Nice.
And because of that, there has been some international interest. No thanks to our News That's a Current segment, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But we have some international interest, so this week we present to you Ye Old Country Parlor.
Thank you for tuning in this week to Ye Old Country Parlor. I am your host, Braxton Mayberry IV, Duke of Nashvillington, and today I have a sonnet for you from the mind of one Trace Atkins. Here is a snippet of Honky Tonk, Badonkadonk. Hustlers shooting 8-ball, throwing darts at the wall, feeling damn near 10 feet tall. Here she comes, Lord, help us all. Old T.W.'s girlfriend done slapped him out his chair. Poor old boy, it ain't his fault. It's so hard not to stare at that honky tonk, badonkadonk. Keeping perfect rhythm, make you wanna swing along. She's got it going on like Donkey Kong. And woo-wee, shut my mouth, slap your grandma. Dear heavens. There ought to be a law. Get the sheriff on the phone. Lord have mercy. How'd she even get her britches on? That honky tonk, badonk, a donk. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a fantastic day. God save the king!
Well, I tell you what, British actors are certainly known for bringing in Shakespearean influence to what they do, and that's probably the best combination of Shakespearean influence and Americana that I think I've ever heard.
You know, Motorcycle, and this is a true story, I have been to Shakespeare's hometown, the town of Bath, England. I was there when I was 18 years old. I have seen the theater that you know, inspired the concept of theater in the round and all that. And that would have fit in there. That was just, you know, very British, very, very Shakespearean. Oh dear. I see why we're big in England. I see why, if that's what they're going to keep sending us, you know, hey, bring it on. That's way more palatable than whatever the Irish news occurring stuff is.
You know, I figured because of our newfound popularity and how big we're getting, that it might be some time to invest in a little bit of protection, if you will. So I hired a detective to follow us around and keep an eye on us to make sure we're safe.
All right. This is news to me. Good to know.
Yeah. His name is Detective Jimmy LaRue, and he's don't worry, he's working for free.
Good.
Under the agreement that he would be able to be on the show.
Okay.
So he wants to be on the show. We talked about it. We discussed it, and I said, you know, for the services of a man such as you, you can have whatever you want. So he wanted to share some of the history of the job of being a gumshoe, a detective, you know, a private dick, if you will. And so now we're going to present to our listeners a new segment that we call Case Files with Jimmy LaRue.
It's Jimmy LaRue. I've been on the case for a while looking for a box of cigars for a guy named Bill. They were last seen in somewhere called the Oral Office. I have a good suspect that the wife did it. It's always the wife, you know? Speaking of which, there's another lady who asked me to help her find her prized cock ring. Jewel encrusted, you know? Looks expensive. I think it disappeared for insurance purposes, you know? So I said to myself, well, what the hell does your pet chicken need with a piece of fingerware? These rich people got way too much money and time on their hands when they're buying jewelry for their pet chickens. I have no idea what that's about. But hey, they always call Jimmy LaRue. I should add to my business card, I can find your lost things, because they always come to me looking for them. Like, I have no idea. I haven't seen my keys in a week.
Thanks for the update, Jimmy. That, of course, was our new segment, Case Files with Jimmy LaRue, here on Use Your Weight, part of the JXB Radio Network. We are big in England and soon to be big elsewhere in the world. And we've got a guy like Jimmy protecting us at all times. And he's the best kind of private dick, if you will. He works for free. I'm sure we'll be hearing about more of his crazy capers and cases as the episodes go on. And, I feel compelled, Motorcycle, to turn the lights off and fill the room with cigarette smoke and listen to Frank Sinatra now. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to feel protected, especially from someone who seems to be so experienced, especially in the art of dealing with women, it would seem.
It would seem, yes.
All right, well, that's going to be our show for this episode of the Use Your Weight Radio podcast. Special thanks to our production assistants, DC, VA, Damian Miller, and also to our resident detective there, James LaRue, for helping out today. As always, I am Dr. Motorcycle, along with my amazing co-host, the fantastic Johnny X. Johnny?
Thanks, Motorcycle. Just remember, slow it down, take a deep breath. It's all good.
Slow it down, take a deep breath.
It's all good. As a good friend of mine in the radio business used to say, rest in peace, Wes Ryan, slow down and enjoy the drive. And we hope you've enjoyed the show. We'll be back sooner than you think with more to talk about, more news, God help us, more Jimmy LaRue. I'm sure he'll have a lot to talk about. Maybe some more deep thoughts from Slim Reaper. And God knows, maybe we'll get to pick up some more sponsors. Who knows? So looking forward to it. And a pleasure as always, Dr. Motorcycle.
The pleasure is certainly yours.
You've been enjoying the Use Your Weight Radio podcast, courtesy of the JXB Radio Network. Hosted by Dr. Motorcycle and the fantastic Johnny X. Our director is Bob McCoy. Our executive producers are Bob McCoy and Josh Exline. Our announcer is Sarah Ruth Thomas. Assistant producers include Brian King, Slim Reaper, and Josh Bates. Thanks for listening, and come again.
It's still real to me, damn it!